Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are testing an E46 Chassis Harness Coupe. This is pretty baller. It's got 3 fuel pumps and a bunch of extra little things we wired in and accommodated. So let's go over all that. It's kind of hard to see. Everything's a mess on the desk. It's Monday. It's Mondays. So if you see here, we wired in white and orange, and that comes. Excuse all the extra fuse blocks for the fuel pumps. That comes right here. So white and orange, you guys can see that. And then we also have the actual adder relay that's powering these, which gives power to these switches. And then these switches activate these 16 gauge wires right here. And then we also left the actual adder relay right there in case they'd like to add more underglow. All right, let's make sure everything's off. Cool. All right, sweet. Let's check all the battery constants. We got one over here. Oh, dude, my battery is toast. Buttered toast. All right, I gotta charge it after this video. We gotta make this video because the right-hand drive RX-7 that I built, the video I lost. My mic died and there's no audio, so I have to redub it, and I'm not about that life. All right, cool. Here's the digital dash. All right. Yeah, the battery voltage is very low. It'll be all right for this video. We can make it work. Let me plug in third brake light, or the brake pedal switch, which will activate all the brake lights. So when I key on, you'll notice right away the brakes turn on, and that's because this needs to be wired in and has to be pressed in. And I'll turn the brakes off. So ready? Boom. And then once you press this in, it turns them off. So I'm just going to disconnect that for the time being. We know that all works. Perfect. Now let's check our battery powers. So this one is from the inputs and outputs on this E46 chassis harness, number 137. Cool. Check this one. Cool. Got another one here. I want to make sure everything's in frame so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. It's not good for us because it shows the competition. I know you guys are watching. What's up? You guys don't say hi anymore. It's crazy. But it does help the customers, and that's what we're about. So here's for the digital dash disconnect, and this customer opted to add 5 extra blank wires. And a blank wire is exactly what it sounds like. It's just these light green wires that are dancing on me. These light green wires go over to the inputs and outputs, which will be over by the fuse block on your passenger side behind the dashboard general area. And then you can pick up things from your engine harness and send them to your gauges without having to run any extra wires and making it look all crazy. We already ran them for you. Let's make sure we did all the key ons. I don't want to miss anything. Sometimes I get distracted. I'd be chatting. Let's do the key on at the digital dash disconnect. Cool. All right, let's check the starter, which this customer, you can't see it, but this customer has an X20 OBD1 pinout connector in their E46. From my understanding, with these 3 fuel pumps, it's a baller setup. So we opted for the red switch on this one. The customer relayed that to us. See that one more time in real time. Sick. All right. So this customer wanted their fuel pumps on their own switch instead of the X20. So even though we wired in the X20 fuel pump signal and left it to a flying lead in this merger that is labeled X20, I really need to get like a bench and like open this up. But once we build the shop, this isn't connected. I need to make note of that. Let's see. All right. Minor miscalculation on my end. Here it is. Cool. So even though the fuel pump signal is still in this harness, they can always repurpose it. This is a switch power, but we have everything here on a switch ground. Um, most of the time, everything should be on a switch ground signal, but whatever, to each their own. The X20 on the E46 has a switch power, and that's the big variable where almost all aftermarket ECUs use a switched ground. So that is something to keep in mind. If we want to, oh, I just turned everything off. All right. That's a good point. Make sure your ignition on and your starter and your fuel pump are opposite of anything like a hydro or your shifter. You don't want to be bumping into that stuff. And if it is going to be in the way, relocate it. Go high, go low, move the switch panel wherever you need. So I got to plug in. It's crazy because it's all like here on the bench, but we have a 3-pin disconnect for the fuel pumps. So there's dual fuse blocks for 3 pumps because we can only wire in 2. That's where that missing fuse was. Dope. That's why we check. So there's 3 fuel pumps. We got the fuse somewhere. I just had it in my hand here. Another. Cool. One of those lovely things why we test. We buy stuff too from people, and then we ordered something and it didn't show up in the package, and they were like, send us a picture. So I just sent them a picture of an empty bag. I'm like, what do you want a picture of, bro? Like, I don't know. That's why I test like this. I want to make sure you guys get what you pay for. I deal with all kinds of stuff too. Sick. Here we go. Rambling. Found it. So this is for the fuel level, which is off another disconnect over here by the digital dash. So they can pick up this brown and yellow, brown and black wires by their fuel pump. And then it's over by their dash, all in the harness. And then they wanted 2 extra wires for the dash. So we wired that in. Again, those will terminate to our inputs and outputs. Oh, bro, don't be touching stuff. All right, back in the game. Oh, righty then. So this is the fuel pump side. So I need the harness side, which is past this connector. So the other side of this. Not that one. Not that one. That's the one I just grabbed. Here it is. This one's mad long. It was out in no man's land. All right, cool. So we plug these in, and now our switched fuel pump signal will activate these relays to make sure my ground is connected, because I do that often. We zip tied next to the power a ground wire. It's just a flying lead with a ring end on all of them. If you are someone that didn't get the ground wire, hit us up. I know I slacked and someone didn't get one. So if that's you, just holler at us. We got you. We'll drop that in the mail for you. So all 3 of these should not have power. No power, no power, no power. And we're going to turn on our fuel. So now all these should be good. Power, power, power. All right, let's turn it back off. Fuel, ready? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Sick. All right, got all wrapped up here. So this customer has a fan and a cool suit. So what we did is we have a switch power for both of these, where the fuel pump was a switch ground. So the fan and the suit are switch powers, excuse me. So the suit is behind the seat, which is this purple disconnect right here to this flying lead. So we can just test that real quick. So this would be the suit. There we go. I saw it. There she is. Cool. And then behind the headlight on the passenger side, we have another for the switch power for a fan. This is not to power the fan. This is a switch power to activate the relay that's going to power the fan. That is an extraordinarily different, I don't even know how to explain it. That is completely different. You are not powering a fan with this little 20 gauge wire. All right. Caught me in the moment there. I don't even know what to say. All right, so fan, cool, off, boom, solid. All right, so, and then wiper, we can do wiper real quick, and then this switch panel will be done. This customer has 2 switch panels. Oh, what happened? Doing me dirts on the spot. try and show you guys everything. I know a lot of other people like to be mysterious, but I just want guys to know what the deal is. I want you to know what we do, what you get, what we offer. I want it to be real. All right, on to the next switch panel. I guess, yeah, here it is. I want to make sure I have my digital dash present so I can start checking everything. All right, so blinkers. So that is the passenger side blinker. So we're going to also check that at the digital dash. All right, cool. And now we're going to do the other blinker. Cool. And then let's just do hazards. I think it's right next to it. Hazards. Everything's blinking. Yeah, okay. You can see. It's kind of hard to see that one, but you can see that one reflecting off the bin. Cool. And then running lights. We got all the running lights. Don't be touching nothing. All right, cool. So here's your input and output additional running light. Here's your running light at your digital dash. And then we have an additional running light for your gauges. So when you turn your lights on, your gauges illuminate. And then we have tail lights. It's hard to see. Everything's kind of a mess. But we have your license plate lights. You can see both sides of those. Corner lights on. And then we also have been wiring in this extra for halos. Because people be getting halos and then saying, hey, I have to cut the harness, and you don't have to cut anything. You just call us. Sick. We'll turn that off because my battery's dying. All right, so the xenon headlights, when they energize, you got to leave them on for a second because they're going to be humming. So you want to wait until they stop humming. So I'm not sure if one's high beam. So this is a dual pole switch. So one side's going to be headlight and one side's going to be high beam. So let's start with high beams. I actually got the bulb. I needed bulbs. I bought bulbs. I'll be the first to say it is absolutely astounding how much money we spend on bulbs. And we don't even sell bulbs. So whatever. All right, so headlights, ready? Bum, bum, bum. What happened? No headlights. We're not plugged in. We're plugged in. Please hold. Everything is good here. What is up with the headlights? This is why we test. I want to do this so you guys don't have to. Headlight is wired correctly. Yes, indeed. Okay, and then we'll check the connector here. Let's just make sure. Yep, everything's good. All right, so let's see. Maybe it's just a bad relay. So it should be. I hate plugging them in all the way. They're a nightmare to get out. Bum up your finger a little. All right. Oh, I wonder if I don't have the ground connected. Yeah, let me see if I have the ground connected. Yeah, that's connected. Yep. So why aren't my... There's no way I'd pop both of them. I mean, we have power, we have ground. Let's double check that we have ground. Oh my god, these things are a nightmare. Dude, I would be so sad if my xenons pop. Yeah, I don't think they're good anymore. That's brutal. I can't believe that. Dude, what a bummer. So that's high beams. Yo, my xenons are both pop. That's crazy. Oh, these things are so much money. Can't even get this off. What a nightmare. All right, please hold. So I got that headlight connector out, and yeah, it looks like both my xenon bulbs are popped because we have power and ground. That's crazy. It's pinned correctly. It's pinned correctly. What? Dang, bro. I don't want my xenons to be bad. Ugh. All right. That is a huge damper back on the Monday blues. Monday is very tough this Monday. I mean, it has ground and it has power, and neither. Oh my God, these things are worth so much money and they're bad now. All right, well, let's just move on because there's nothing I can do about that now. Super bummed. That is. Oh, that sucks. All right, cool. So we checked this adder relay, so we'll check orange for the interior or exterior glow, whichever they choose. So that's good. Off. And the same thing for white. There it is. Off. So yeah, let's actually, I just want to check the headlights and high beams at the so this is the high beams at the digital dash to make sure those flying leads have power. All right, so I'm at high beams. So bummed right now, guys. So bummed. All right, so that's why I tell you don't turn them on and off. They're like super sensitive. Yep, we have power. So all right, well, I tested it with the meter on both ends. That is what it is. So yeah, that's it. She's tested. She's ready to rock. Get this shipped out to the customer today, and then we'll edit this video sometime this week. Yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Helps us help you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Be good. As soon as I put the camera down, I was like, I bet you it's because the battery's dead. So I got my cheapo junky jump pack, which is barely putting out. But that is why. So let this be a learning experience. We're learning. You guys are learning. We're figuring it all out. I'm going to go buy a trickle charger so I can plug this in so that this doesn't happen again, because that was super devastating. I was really bummed. I'm going to let these run for a sec. You don't want to turn them right off. But yeah, there we go. Boom. Documented, tested. Both are on. Good to go. Ready to rock. Super hyped. Loving it. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Super hyped about this. I was very bummed. Very, very bummed. So I'm ecstatic right now. I'm going to go get this all boxed up. The guy who ships all the packages is coming soon. So I got to get some stuff done. So see you on the next one.